Good afternoon, class. I hope this finds you all enjoying the wonderful sunshine outside. Please bear with me. We're going to be figuring this out together. For this week, we're going to be on lesson 25, which is over Ruth. I'm going to post 4 videos per week. That way you don't have to listen to me for a long period of time. I'll be breaking up the process, which is on page 214. I'll be teaching step 1 and 2 in one day, step 3, step 4 for you also, and you'll just be following along that at home. First, we're going to be reviewing back in unit 3. We worked on this a little bit last week. Our story sequence chart. So going back to unit 3, we have our story sequence chart. We first have our characters and the setting. Remember, the characters and the setting are: when is the story taking place? When did it happen? Who is in the story? What are they like? Where do they live? Where do they go? Remember, we've talked about Cinderella. The setting is the time period. Where is it at? A castle. Who is in it? Cinderella, the prince, the evil stepsisters, the evil stepmother. So remember your characters and your setting. Then you're going to go on the conflict and the problem. What does the main character need or want? What do the characters do? What do they do? What do they say? What do they think? And what do they feel? Then, lastly, your climax or resolution, where the story resolves. What leads to the conflict being solved? That's the climax. What is leading to that? What happens as a result? What is learned? What is the message or the moral you can take away from the story? The resolution in Cinderella is the prince finds her, the shoe fits, they live happily ever after. So remember again, your characters and your setting, your conflict, your problem, your climax, and your resolution. Now I want you to make sure that you turn to the appendix in your book, which is the Critique Thesaurus. I want you to be using these words. We're not going to be using the introduction right now, but we see our characters and our setting, our conflict and our climax. I want you to be using some of these words. You don't have to use all of them, just use some. So make sure you turn to that. That is in the back of your book. Once you have that in your mind, I want you to go and I want you to read the source text, which is on page 215, the Book of Ruth. I want you to read that with the character setting, conflict, problem, and climax resolution in your mind. You will then write your keyword outline. Make sure to follow the story sequence chart and use that thesaurus. You're going to be writing 3 paragraphs again. One is on the character and the setting. One is on the conflict or the problem. The other is on the climax and the resolution. Let's look at that in your book. We're going to be starting here, keyword outline. And they're giving you some helps. Describe the time and the place when the story occurs. This is the setting. Name and describe each main character. Some examples. The setting could be there's a famine. Who are some of the characters? Naomi, Ruth, and give a little bit of information about them. Go on to your conflict or your problem. The problem was in Israel. There was a famine. People were destitute. And what was happening? They were going daily to the fields to glean. Who did Ruth get to see? Boaz. Tell a little bit about that. Then the climax and the resolution. The climax, how did everything come to a head? And how was it resolved? Fill in that.